Hi everybody, welcome back to the organ with me, Alissa Brewer. Today we're going to be talking about music for All Saints and All Souls Day, which is coming up next week, November 1st and 2nd. So All Saints didn't always used to be November 1st. Sometime around the 8th century, Pope Gregory III moved this commemoration of the Feast of All Saints from the spring to November. And of course the Eastern Church still celebrates it the first Sunday after Pentecost. And Protestants also celebrate it on November 1st, although they kind of do their own kind of version of it, maybe combining All Saints and All Souls, or just doing a service of remembrance for the dead. So today we're going to look at a couple of distinctly Anglican hymns for All Saints. The opening hymn that we know and love is For All the Saints. The text was written by an Anglican bishop, William Walsham Howe, and it was first published in 1864 under the title A Cloud of Witnesses, which is not quite as catchy. But it's a reference to Hebrews 12:1, which reads, "Wherefore seeing we are also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us." Then in 1906, it was published in the English hymnal with a new tune, and that was Ralph Vaughan Williams' Sine Nomine, which is literally, if you know Latin, without name. So there's a theory that it was published somewhat anonymously because Williams was competing with the existing tune written by his teacher, Charles Villiers Stanford, who wrote Engelberg for this tune. And this is one that we know really well as When in Our Music God is Glorified, or we know that Christ is raised and dies no more, right? We use it for every baptism, and it goes... All right, so it's that one, and it's also the only other one in the hymnal that starts with a big chord on beat 1 with the congregation coming in on beat 2. And same thing in For All the Saints, we have that big old pedal note on beat 1 and everybody coming in on beat 2. Okay, so his tune has basically won out, Sine Nomine, and it really highlights the text, right? It's all about this relationship between the church here on earth, right, the faithful, and the people that have gone to heaven, right, the church militant, the church triumphant. And so I think this tune is not only very militant, but the text is really suited to it as well, right? We get the well-fought fight and thy soldiers faithful, true, and bold. There's a lot of fighting and wartime kind of references in here, and it's great. But it has been whittled down from 11 stanzas. We've got 8 in the hymnal, of which we use about 4, right? It's a very lengthy hymn. Really wants to get that point across. But it's a great one as an opening hymn for a big festive day like All Saints. So let me play that through for you one time. The nice strong pedal line. So if you notice, this is not written in the standard 4-part harmony that would have been expected of the day, but it has a strong pedal line, it has chords in the manuals, fit for an organist as Vaughan William was, and one unison melody line. Another distinctly Anglican hymn is I Sing a Song of the Saints of God, which is written by Lesbia Scott. In 1929, she published it in Everyday Hymns for Children, and it was really meant for her own kids and for private devotional use, And then it was more widely circulated in the US in the hymnal 1940. And that's when people started to think it was a little bit irreverent, right? It has a kind of jaunty tune, sings about people being slain by a fierce wild beast. But I think that's what makes it fun to sing. It's fun for kids. Adults kind of like singing it too. And so, you know, admittedly, it kind of breaks out of the mold of what we usually think of as very traditional Anglican hymns, right? That are usually very reverent. But this one, I think, is good to throw in every once in a while just to keep it fresh. And so I'm going to play this one for you. Look for our kids singing this one on All Saints Sunday. It's going to be great. Has that kind of teaching element that you see a lot in children's hymns, right? They were all of them saints of God, and I mean God helping to be one too. Okay, so that's a couple of hymns for All Saints, and now let's talk about All Souls, which has a very different flavor to it. So the proper liturgy for All Souls Day on November 2nd is a Requiem Mass. And of course it has the ordinary, the Kyrie, Sanctus, Agnus Dei, but also has a big set of very specific propers that can include any or all of the introit, gradual, tract, the sequence, which is the Dies Irae, offertory, lux aeterna, Pie Jesu, liberame, and in paradisum. Now, that's a lot of music to be sung, and it used to all just be, you know, chant that would be sung straight through, but of course from the Renaissance onward, there were a lot of composers that wanted to set some or all of that music as a Requiem Mass. So we have a lot of settings, not only in Latin now, but also in other languages, including English, and you can hear, you know, Requiem Masses even in concert. You know, Mozart's Requiem is hugely popular still. You can hear Fauré a lot in churches. You can hear the Rudder in church. We've done both of those. We're not doing one this year, but stay tuned next time. And they're just beautiful services, full of music and liturgy to commemorate the faithful departed. So that's it. I hope you learned a little bit about Anglican music for All Saints and All Souls, and I will see you guys around.